Namaste, this is Kaushiki Singh from the Sabha team, and I have written an article on the writ of habeas corpus, and I will be briefing out on the same. So before starting, what is the writ of habeas corpus? First we have to see what is a writ. So a writ is a written document from court or any legal authority towards any authority or a person from asking them or limiting them from act or abstain from acting in a certain way and to act within the provision of law. So in Indian Constitution, these writs are mentioned and guaranteed under Article 32 in the purview of Supreme Court and Article 226 in the purview of the High Courts of the country. While the sole object of Article 32 is the enforcement of fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution, in Article 226 it is also about fundamental rights, but also it mentions for any other purposes. Now this any other purposes is a debatable topic and it depends on the arbitration of the court. Before coming to the writ of habeas corpus, we'll just see what are the other writs. So the writs guaranteed under the Indian Constitution is the writ of habeas corpus mandamus, the writ of certiorari, the writ of quo warranto, and the writ of prohibition. So the writ of mandamus is issuing an order from the superior courts towards an authority which is already mentioned in Article 226 and 32, asking them from performing in a particular duty and abstaining them from operating against unlawfully. Then comes the writ of prohibition. This writ is issued by the lower court this writ is actually issued by the higher court towards the lower courts to halt them or stop them from exceeding their power. Next comes the writ of certiorari. So the purpose of writ of certiorari is to bring in the review of the proceeding and judgments of an inferior courts in front of the superior court. Then there is the writ of quo warranto. So the writ of quo warranto is when the court possesses the question of legality towards a person or an authority which is holding an office and a title in an invalid way. Now we come to the writ of habeas corpus. So the writ of habeas corpus full name is actually habeas corpus subjacendum. This translates to you may have the body to submit or answer. This writ is actually a prerogative writ for securing the liberty of a person against unlawful detention, whether in state prison or in private custody. So by this, the court may command the production of the person who has been detained, and after the inquiry, if the court finds that there is no lawful justification for the imprisonment of that person, then the court may order immediate release of that person. The writ of habeas corpus actually plays a very definite part in the administrative law. Now comes the question to against whom this writ is applied. So this writ is applied against the person by whose authority the other person the detainee has been detained. So the person who has actually ordered, or the authority who has ordered, is the authority on whom this writ is applied. The question comes again, who may apply for this writ? So the defense may apply. Now there is no hard and fast rule of who may apply actually. The defense himself may apply, its parents, relative, close friend may also apply. There have been many cases where the close relative of the defense have applied. In the case of Delhi administration versus Sunil Batra, even a letter was considered which was written to the judge about the illegalities which was committed on the prison, and that letter was eventually admitted in the court. Now also any other person may apply who is interested in the detainee. Even the court may act suo motu. Suo motu means the court may act upon themselves and further the proceeding. This was held in the case of Ram Kumar versus District Magistrate, Delhi. Also any public spirited person may also apply if it is interested in that case. Now come the question of where the habeas corpus may lie, or in what cases the habeas corpus will be issued. So habeas corpus will be surely issued if any of the act is against the rights of a person mentioned in Article 19(1)(d) of the Constitution, Article 21 of the Constitution, and Article 22 of the Constitution. The writ of habeas corpus will also be applied if the detaining authority which has detained the person is acting exceeding against its power. This writ is also applied if the detaining authority is within its power, but there has been some misinterpretation of law, failure to take into the relevant matters, taking irrelevant matters, or even procedural law. So in these cases also, this writ may also apply. This case may also apply if there is no warranty for the detention, or if this warranty is required and therefore the detention has not been processed. Then comes the subject of where habeas corpus may not lie, which is where habeas corpus, in what cases habeas corpus writ will not be applied. So strictly habeas corpus will not be applied if a person is facing an execution, is in the trial of an execution, or is in the line of an execution. Also, if there is a mere surveillance and there has been no detention, then a person cannot file a petition of the writ of habeas corpus under Article 226 or 32. This writ is also not applied if in the second time the magistrate is acting within its limits, if the magistrate not having the jurisdiction have worked. So for the second time, when the magistrate is acting within its jurisdiction, this writ will not be applied, which it was held in the case of Lalubhai versus Union of India. Also, when the question comes about the security of the country, this writ will not be applied. If a person is against any of the provision which is mentioned in the Maintenance of Internal Security Act of 1971, this writ will not be applied. This was held in the case of Masood Alam versus Union of India. Now habeas corpus will not be applied if a person is facing any of the charges for non-payment of fines. Then also this writ may also be not applied. Also, this writ is not applied if a person is accused of facing persecution for any offense which is cognizable in nature. Now comes a very important topic which is almost very attached to writ of habeas corpus, is preventive detention. Preventive detention is mentioned in Article 22. The people of the country have a right against preventive detention in under Article 22 of the Constitution. So preventive detention is actually based on reasonable prognosis of future behavior of a person based on his past conduct in the light of surrounding circumstances. It is actually a measure by the state in order to protect the interest of the country and welfare of the people from anti-national and anti-social element affecting the maintenance of public order and economic welfare of the country. So basically, preventive detention is when the state imprisons a person not because he has done something illegal, but the state has an apprehension that this person is likely to cause trouble and upheaval in the country. So prevent that scenario. To prevent that scenario, the state imprisons this person or group of person. Now, preventive detention law by very nature has always possessed a threat to a democratic country. Preventive detention in many natures has always fraught with the danger of personal liberty. And so it is so that under Article 32 and 226, the court do not actually sit for the hearing of any matter which is pertaining to preventive detention apart from the provision of under Article 22 Clause 5, which talks about the right of a person to be presented in the court to be heard. Apart from this, the court does not sit for any of the matter for preventive detention, either of the articles of the writ. So because of this, if the detaining authority, which is the authority that detained the person in preventive detention, is not against any of the articles of the provisions of the Constitution or not, and is against the Kaffe-Posa Act, the court is not likely to hear any of the matter which is presented within the scope of Article 22. So the preventive detention is within the judicial scrutiny and courts have to examine it. And next comes the topic of res judicata. So in English law or in common law, the writ of habeas corpus, once rejected on the ground, may apply again in the similar court on the similar grounds. But this is not the scene in the Indian context. In Indian context, the writ of habeas corpus, once applied in the court, cannot be reapplied on the similar grounds on the similar courts. Either the person have to change the grounds of the writ or have to apply it on the superior court, which means if the writ has been cancelled by the High Court, rejected by the High Court on the grounds, he may apply it for the similar grounds to the Supreme Court. Concluding to the constitutionality, by adopting Article 226, the Constitution has done away with territorial and statutory limitations of the High Courts were subject in relation to habeas corpus. So now every High Court in the country possesses the power to issue the prerogative writ of habeas corpus. But the Constitution, on the other hand, had empowered the legislature to enact laws of preventive detention, which actually narrows down the scope of the Constitution to a larger extent, as preventive detention can cause a serious threat to the person's liberty. Because in India, the broader horizon of habeas corpus are spread out beyond the orbit of release of illegal custody into the very trauma and torture the person in the legal custody goes through. This was actually held in the case of Prem Kant Shukla versus Delhi administration. In the famous case of Veena Sethi versus State of Bihar, some prisoners were detained from the period of 20 to 37. Even if they were guilty, they had already exceeded the maximum imprisonment they might have been awarded. In Sheila Barse versus Union of India, the Supreme Court intervened for the cruelty of the criminal lunatics. In Jogendra Singh versus State of UP, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the practice of arbitrary arrest. So from all this discussion, we can actually conclude that writ of habeas corpus is the biggest peril. But this writ is not applicable in all further cases, especially if the matter is for the liberty, especially if the matter is for the national security and tranquility of the country, or if the matters are even presented in a manner where these can be for the national security and tranquility. The court does not most of the time hear the cases pertaining to the writ of habeas corpus. Thank you once again for patience listening. Namaste.